was talking to this man for about 2 weeks, and he wasn't really talking about nothing, not trying to plan no date, just texting what you doing, good morning, stuff like that. So eventually I stopped talking to him. So a few days later, he texted me. He was like, damn, it's like that. What did I do? So I texted him back. I'm like, you're not really talking about nothing. You haven't even tried to plan a date or anything. So he said, that's my job. I said, huh? He gonna say, I thought that was for both parties to do. I said, you're looking for a man, and so am I. So this is not gonna work. What is happening in this generation? Mind you, first date. I'm not talking about we've been talking for a while and no, 2 weeks. You haven't talked about nothing other than what you're doing and good morning. I'm not gonna keep texting you. What are we talking about right now? Like, I thought that was for both parties. No, you're confused, sweetheart. You're looking for a man.
I remember this man looked at me dead in my face while we were laying in bed. And he shook me awake. And he was like, I just had to wake you up. I said, why? What's wrong? He was like, you look really ugly when you sleep. I said, excuse me? He was like, I don't know. You just have your bonnet on. You ain't got your glasses on. You ain't got no earrings on. You ain't got your rings on. You sleep with your mouth open. I just never noticed, like, you low-key kind of ugly, especially when you sleep. I got up out that bed, took a shower, put my clothes on, and I left. I didn't say a word. He was like, oh, you're leaving? And I just looked at him, got my stuff, walked out, got in the car, and drove back to my apartment. This was a long time ago. Drove back to my apartment. Never spoke to him again. He was blowing up my phone, blowing up my TikTok, blowing up my Instagram. I don't know where that man is at right now. And he don't know where I'm at. Because what makes you think that was okay to say? You don't like me for real. You don't like me. You don't like me because if you liked me, no matter what state I'm in, you would still think I'm pretty. You would still think I'm cute. Right? Am I wrong for feeling like that?
Welcome to the renewal. Please be sure to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. So by now, I'm sure you've seen those wild story times on TikTok about disaster days where someone completely disrespects boundaries. These stories are entertaining, but there's a lesson in them all. Red flags matter. Too many people ignore warning signs for many reasons, but when someone shows you they don't respect your time, energy, or boundaries, please believe them. Time is valuable, peace is valuable, and not everyone deserves access. Remember, dating isn't just about finding someone. It is also about recognizing who doesn't belong in your life. What are some red flags you have ignored? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it.
For these days with online dating, because, well, you'll see. I got on Tinder, met this chick. We're only talking for less than a week, right? One day I'm leaving work. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, hey, pull up to this bar. Let's have some drinks. I'm like 5 minutes down the road. I'm like, bet I'll meet you for the first time, like right now. I first walk into the bar. I see her and she's in between like 3 dudes on one side and then 3 dudes on the other side sitting at the bar. So I'm like, maybe these are her friends or whatever, right? And they're all like laughing, like they're drunk, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up? And she turns around, she's like, oh, hey, she hops up. She gives me that little half hug, like, hey, what's up? And then she's like, I'll be right back. She goes to the restroom and I go up and I talk to the guy trying to figure out, like introduce myself, like, hey, who are y'all? Whatever. And I was like, how do y'all know her? And they're like, we don't know her. She's drunk as hell, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, this ain't looking good. I get to the bar because she wanted me like, go get another drink. And I'm like, hey, can I get like 2 Red Bull vodkas? And he's like, how about a Red Bull vodka and just a Red Bull? And I was like, okay, he was basically telling me like, hey, like she's cut off. I'm like, oh shit. So I bring her drink. I'm like, hey, he said like just a Red Bull. And she goes, who? I was like, the bartender. So she goes up to the bartender. She's like, hey, dad, why can't I drink anymore? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dad? Wait, what? Okay, all right, well, at least I know she has a ride home tonight, right? Because finally I'm like, hey, I'm about to head out. I got to get back. I live a little bit ways more down the road. Are you good? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. My car's here, but I'll just ride home with my dad or whatever, right? I leave the bar and I'm 10 minutes down the road, right? My phone starts blowing the hell up. I finally answered. She's like, hey, I got in a wreck. I was like, you were driving? She's, cause I knew how drunk she was. I'm like, oh my God, like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, something happened to my steering wheel. I'm like, something happened to your steering wheel. Like, how did something happen to your steering? So I'm like, where you at? She's like, I'm by the bar. Like, I just left the bar. So basically, I started heading back towards the bar. And then I see like white smoke coming up, and I see she drove a Beetle. It was a car flipped upside down with bumpers and fenders and stuff down the street, where you can see what happened by looking at the red. She hit something and was flipping so much, and like her car like stopped flipping by like it got propped up against like one of those poles at an intersection. I'm like, bro, how are you walking? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on? So I get out the car, I go around, and I get behind her flipped over car. I put on my hazards. Hold on, it gets crazier. It gets crazier. So I'm like, what happened? She's like, something happened to my steering wheel. I was driving and it just like locked up on me or something. I'm like, locked up? I think you were driving. I would think you just missed the fact that you probably popped a curb or something, right? She's like, you help me flip it over. Help you flip it over? Girl, no, we're gonna need a tow truck. Girl, your bumper down the street. So I'm like, hey, the cops, I'm just gonna let you know now. The cops are probably about to be here very soon. I can try my best to help you out. I could be like, hey, I'm gonna give her a ride, but they're gonna have to tow your car, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, they can't tow my car. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. My dad, I just got out of rehab. He's not gonna, I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I was in rehab or whatever. But it's for something different. It's not alcohol. This is like my first time drinking, second time drinking. It was for drugs. I was like, oh, okay. So the car's upside down, and I'm telling her, when the cops get here, do not talk to the cops. You're slurring like hell. Like, just don't talk. Let me do most of the talking. I'm trying to help you, and then I can just take you home. You can figure out this other stuff in the morning. But like right now, you're about to go to jail. Luckily, you didn't kill anybody, right? The cops get there, right? The tow truck gets there, and you can see them coming down the thing. They have the lights on. And she's like, hey, I got something in my car. Can you grab it for me? I'm like, what? She's like, it's just a bag. Can you grab that bag in my car and go throw it in the woods? And I'm like, okay, I wasn't even thinking, like, the cops not close enough yet to see anything. So like, I'm not going to sit there. And so I get in the car. I'm like, this bag? She's like, yeah. So I get it. And I'm like, the cops are not a lot closer than I thought they would be when I came out the upside down car. So I kind of have the bag and I kind of like toss it like in the grass, like the higher grass, right? She starts taking off her jacket. Like it's cold. Like it's cold around this time, right? And underneath her jacket, all she had was like this bra on, right? I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I know what I'm doing. I know how to talk to cops. I said, girl, no, you're not supposed to be talking to anybody tonight. Don't talk to the cops. And I promise you that's not going to work. And it doesn't make sense. Why would your chi-chis be out and this cold? She's like, well, I need a different bra. Do you mind if I go in your car and change my bra? The cop is here. The cop is parked now. He's behind, like, just like talking on the radio saying what's going on. She hops in my car. She's changing her bra. Her old bra, she just throws in the trunk, right? Cop gets there. Cop walks up. He's like, hey, what's going on? And I know the cop. So I'm like, oh, hey, this is what happened. For real. I could take her home. He's like, all right, we'll get that handled, because if not, she was going to jail, right? So that happened. That's over with. That was crazy. The conclusion of this story is raw. So you remember when I said when I went out with this chick, it was because me and my girl had just broken up, right? Well, later on in life, like that same year, months go by, we rekindle things, right? We're out and about on the weekend, chilling. We need to clean out the back of my trunk of my car. I forget that this girl threw one of her bras that she changed out of in the back. We have been back together for like maybe a month or so by now, right? But she's like, what is this? And I'm like, that's a long story, but it's not what you think. And she goes, no, whatever. And she like throws it. I'm like, ain't no way. That full loop. So I get the silent treatment. I'm like, bro, I can tell you the story that I've just told y'all, or you just got to believe me. That is not what you think. That is actually the craziest story in the world. I actually still never got to tell her that story. So when she sees this TikTok, she's going to see it at the same time as you. And, hey, that was from a long time ago, and it was not what you think. Okay.
I'm board. Story time on how I found out my ex was cheating and how karma is literally always real. So you know how when a guy is calling and texting you every day and suddenly it slows down, you pretty much know something is up. So I knew something was up. So me being me and me being mature, I texted him and was like, hey, like, I can see the difference in how things are going. If for whatever reason, like, you no longer want to talk to me, that is perfectly okay. It's no bad blood. I feel like everyone is entitled to that. Like, I do not need to hold you hostage. Like, it is okay. Just go be free. Go do whatever you want to do. I don't care. And eventually we decided that we were going to stop talking. Once I stopped talking to a guy, we're not friends. Like, I'm not going to still be texting you because I feel like that's weird. And I feel like that's how people's feelings get hurt. He called me back like 10 minutes later and he was like, never mind. Like, I really like you. Like, I guess we'll just have to make it work. And I was like, okay, because you said it, not me. So the following week I ended up getting COVID and we were supposed to like go on a date and I couldn't go. So eventually it's Saturday and you know how you get intuition and you just know something's off. I literally called my friend and I was like, I'm about to like stop talking to him. Like, I know something's happening right now. Like, something bad is happening. And she was like, what? Like, y'all just made up. Like, you're being crazy. So I called him and I was like, what's up? Like, what's happening? And he really doesn't say anything. And he's like, I'm just going to let you know I'm on a date right now. And then hangs up the phone. So me now, I literally wouldn't have called him back, but like, I was sick. Like, I was like, am I hearing like what I think that I'm hearing? Like, there's no way he just casually, and I think it was the fact that he was so casual with it. Like, I didn't catch him. Like, he told me it, like, it was okay. And I guess that kind of threw me off. So I called back and I was like, what? Like, can you like repeat that? Right? Like, what did you say? So then I guess he hands the girl the phone and she starts trying to clown me. You know, like, aha, I got your man. And I was like, well, the minute that he told me he was on a date, he was no longer my man. And I was like, 2, you clearly knew who I was. I didn't know nothing about you. So that lets me know that he knows one of us is stupid and one is not, because men are dumb. He knew that if at any moment I knew about another girl, I would stop talking to him, which I immediately did. He knew that you did not care. So that says more about you than it does me. 3, I was like, we're both getting cheated on. You don't have the upper hand because you're out on a date with a man. We are both still getting cheated on. And I told her that. I was like, so you are excited to be with a man that was lying to you and, you know, was with another woman. Like, you're supposed to be on a date having a great time. And here you are on the phone with me. I said, that makes no sense. Like, you should literally want better for yourself. But she was just so, you know, gung-ho on, aha, like, I got one up on you. And I was like, okay, girl. And then I just hung up the phone and she and he blocked me from everything. And I just moved on with my life. And lo and behold, like all men do, they eventually come back. And he had blocked me first. So he had the one up. You know, when someone blocks you, you can't find their account to block them back. So he unblocked me. He tried to talk to me a couple of times after this encounter. And essentially he admitted that he ended up cheating on the girl and not wanting a relationship with her and like dragging her through the mud. And she ended up showing up at his parents' house to try to like beg to be with him and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, I dodged that bullet. But also I would never take him back or talk to him again because the disrespect was entirely too loud. And 2, I just don't like a person that's honest. We literally had stopped talking because I was like, if you want to be with somebody else, you know, like, I can see the messages are getting short and dry. Like, go be with her. I literally don't care. It's no bad blood. But you thought that you could have your cake and eat it too and keep it a secret from me because you know I would not go for that. And then you let someone play on my phone. Like, what in the world? But it is what it is. I've moved on. I just always like think of that story like once a month and I'm like, what is wrong with men? Like, actually.
Listen, when women say that once a man gets distant with you or just irrationally snippy and cold with you, that he is cheating, believe it. I've been replaying the last 24 hours of my relationship and I feel like I have to tell someone this. He's gonna hate that I'm telling y'all, and I really don't care, because my rule of thumb is if you don't want someone to know what you did, then you shouldn't have done it. So earlier the day that my ex dumped me, it was fine. The day felt normal to me. We went to get ice cream, and when we got back to his place, I had maybe like half a scoop left and I was full. So I go to throw it away and he's like, no, like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm full. And he was like, well, don't just throw it away. Like, put it in the freezer. Maybe I'll eat it later. And I was like, okay. So I put it in the freezer. Hours later, we're talking about me being hungry. And he was like, well, you do have that ice cream in the freezer. Like, and at this point, I'm like, I don't know what this ice cream thing is. But I was like, okay, I didn't want it. But I guess I was trying to just shut him up. So I take the ice cream out the freezer, and for whatever reason, it's a melted mess. So my instinct is like, oh, so this is garbage. So I take the cup to throw it in the trash. And y'all, he snaps and screams at me, no. And I was like, like, what? And he was like, why are you throwing it away? And I was like, because it's melted? Like, at this point, I'm confused as to why this melted ice cream is such a big freaking deal. And my nervous system goes into shock because, one, he has never raised his voice at me or talked to me this way. And two, it triggered my childhood wounds. It felt like I was being scolded. And so what he says next is when I knew. He was like, yeah, there's some shit you need to unlearn. What? I start crying and I go over to the couch. This here, what happens next, is how I really knew, okay, this is over. And I knew it in my soul. Normally, if we hurt each other's feelings or we're upset at each other, we're pretty good at communicating. Oh my God, babe, like, I did not mean to make you feel that way. I understand that I did. Let's talk about it. There was always a level of emotional safety with that person. He saw me crying and he did not react. He continued doing what he was doing like I wasn't even there. At that point, the series of events, just everything crumbled down over the next few hours. Everything came falling down. And there were things that happened immediately after he broke up with me that confirmed that he cheated on me, or he was already cheating, or I think if you hook up with someone the same day, you are cheating. Because you were talking to that person. He's going to deny it, as he has been, and I do not care. But I know. And that's what's been making this shit so hard to process. Because I feel like I saw someone completely different at the very end. But I have to believe what, he chose to show me.
I was supposed to hang out with a guy yesterday. We didn't end up hanging out because we decided that we were going to hang out at like 3:30 p.m., right? I was going to go to my sister's house and drop off my dog and hang with her for a little, then we were going to chill, right? He didn't hit me up until like 8:40. I think it was exactly 8:40, telling me that he was like to come over. He was ready to hang out, whatever. What are you doing, bro? Why would I go hang out with you at 8:40 at night when I have told you in the past, like, I'm not trying to hang out late because I'm not sleeping over? So now you're trying to trap me into a sleepover. I'm not sleeping over, bro. What are you doing for me that I'm sleeping over? Why would I do that? Am I bugging because I didn't go over at 8:40 at night when we decided we were going to hang out at 3:30? When you know I don't want to sleep over? Am I bugging? Because, this is really getting me tight because he was so mad that I didn't go over and I fell asleep. So when I woke up to like miss calls and texts and all that, he was upset that I wasted his time. How did I waste your time? It's 8:40 at night. You clearly took your time doing everything you had to do to let me know that I could come over now and we can hang out. What are we going to do at 8:40? Nothing good happens at 8:40 p.m. Mind you, it's going to take me 30 minutes to get there. So it's actually like 9:15. Nothing good is going to happen then. Nothing fruitful. Nothing building relationship is going to happen at that time. I'm not going over. I'm bugging. And I wasn't even like bent out of shape about it. I was just cool with it. I'm not I'm cool. That's it. I'm not going over. I wasn't even like freaking out, arguing or anything. I'm just not going over at 8:40 at night. For what? At that point, because now I got to drive there and drive back. It's raining. I got astigmatism. I can't see in the rain. My windshield wiper is broken. Like, 8:40 at night, you text me and tell me to go over after I've told you in the past I don't sleep over and I'm not going over late at night.
So, let me tell y'all about this man that I met a couple of weeks ago. So I met a guy a couple of weeks ago, and he called me up, and we had an incredible conversation. He was definitely gaslighting and future faking and all the things, because one of the questions to me was like, you know, are you wanting to get married? And I was like, yeah, I do. He was like, so if we got to know each other, we spend time with each other, and I proposed to you in 3 months, would you be with the shits? And I was like, if it's in God's will, we got to pray on it and all these other things. But if things are aligning, maybe, I don't know. But I'm definitely not scared of marriage. And he was like, okay, because I'm trying to get married and have some babies. And I'm like, I am too, because I'm getting a little old, and you know, it is what it is. So we talked for a couple of hours or whatever. And then he was telling me that he was on the way to the casino. I think I called him like at like 8 or something. He was like, he's at the casino, and he called me back, and he FaceTimed me, and he showed me that he was at the casino. I guess he didn't want me to think he was lying or whatever. But after that conversation, I didn't hear from him again, and that's fine. You know, we were following each other on Instagram, so he watched my stories all the time and not say anything. I'm fine. I know exactly what I'm looking for or what I'm desiring. So once I realize that I'm not in alignment, I'm off it real quick with no attitude, no problems, no issue. So I guess he took it upon himself the other day. I posted a picture, like a boomerang with like my legs and my feet in the like boomerang. And he was like, let me rub your feet. Cause he already told me from the beginning that he loves feet. He's definitely gonna be someone who's gonna be paying for my nails and toes. Anyway, I was like, oh, so now you know me, sir. And he was like, don't do that. And I'm just like, hey, I'm just messing with you or whatever. So we were kind of like just messaging back and forth on Instagram, but I've already written him off. I've already met somebody else that's doing the things. And so I don't know, I was just feeling, I guess, sickening this morning. So I had messaged him on Instagram. I said, call me. He said, I'm at work. I said, let me see. Just being silly. Before I know it, a couple of minutes later, he's driving home. He proceeds to let me know that he will be in Atlanta next weekend. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, are you going to come see me? Are you going to take me on a date? And he's like, well, you know, I'm not really coming to Atlanta for that. It's just like really some business for a few days. It's me. Oh, okay, cool. I said, thank you for letting me know what it is. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, there's no way that you're truly, genuinely interested in me and know that we live in different states and you're not going to see me. He was like, that's not true. I was like, it's very much true. And I said, it's okay. If you don't have the balls to say it, I'll have the balls to say it for you. That's not what this is. And that's very cool. There's no problems. There's no issues. And he was like, that's not what it is. And I was like, okay. He was like, okay, well, whatever you say it is what it is. Exactly. And so he proceeded to say, you know, how's your week been? I said, you know what? You did tell me that you were tired. Have a good night or have a good rest. And he was like, dang, that's what it is. And I hung up. Why did I hang up? Because you already let me know that you're not trying to pursue me. You're not trying to date me. That's not what it is. I'm good on you. There's no need for us to like continue to converse. I'm not looking for a best friend. I'm not looking for a pen pal. I'm not mad. I'm just not wasting my time. So I look down at my phone when I get home and I realize that he texts me, I need you to lose your attitude. I said, I don't have an attitude. I just let you know that you can go ahead and go to sleep and rest because obviously we're not in alignment. So, you know, take care. And I'm okay with that. So then, I was like, what's up? And he was like, no worries. I said, oh, I wasn't worried. I said, I already know that we're not in alignment. I just didn't know why you were calling my phone. So then he gives me like this ChatGPT response. How do I know? Because it came in bolded. So because I'm with the shits, I explained exactly what it is. I said, when you got on the phone with me, you didn't let me know that you have things that you got going on. Because basically he was saying, just because I'm going to Atlanta and not taking you on a date does not mean I'm interested. He was like, I'm just wanting to take things slow right now because I have a lot of things going on in my life. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, why didn't you say that when you first had a conversation with me so that there could be a level of understanding there? You're lying. You're just upset because I dismissed you. You're responding to me from a space of your ego. Because you were asking me if you were ready to marry me in 3 months. It didn't sound like you had a lot going on. Why are you asking that question if you have a lot going on? Sir, don't play with me. Play with your mama. Goodbye. I'm good on you.
Sometimes you go too far. I won't want you if you need me. Real things don't not come easy, no. Never been your average girl. So take time with me, take time. Maybe talk to me with some action. We could find a place for your action. Cool